Hello everyone, and welcome once again to another Front Porch Politics podcast preview. Now, we have seen there have been many of you have already listened to our podcast for this weekend, and we're so grateful that you have. But let us remind you, if you have not, that podcast 117 discusses the Democrats' big defense of a terrorist who was killed by U.S. airstrikes. Now, for those of you who do not know, General Soleimani was killed, who was a terrorist out of the country of Iran. Just because they gave him a title of military anything doesn't mean that he wasn't still a terrorist. However, those like Ilhan, Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, well, they have been very quick to defend this terrorist who the Americans have killed. Just for example, here's one tweet from Ilhan Omar. So what if Trump wants war, knows this leads to war, and needs a distraction? Real question is, will those with congressional authority step in and stop him? I know I will. Now, for those of you who are seeing this, I guess you're wondering what distraction she may be talking about. Well, I'm sure she's referring to impeachment. However, the issue with that is the impeachment vote's already taken place. And Omar goes on to say that she's going to stop him, but I think she's forgotten she's not the President of the United States. He has the power to do this, and I don't really think you have that much power anyway, Omar. Makes you wonder why she's so defensive of a terrorist, again, who had killed over 600 Americans, was plotting to kill more, but yet she's defensive of this terrorist. Oh, but Omar wasn't alone in this. Now let us look at what Rashida Tlaib said. We cannot stay silent as this lawless president recklessly moves us closer to yet another unnecessary war that puts innocent lives at risk at home and across the globe. Congress alone has the authority to declare war, and we must reclaim our responsibility and say no to war with Iran. So yet again, this leaves me wondering, what war is Tlaib talking about? This was a military action against a terrorist, and she wants to talk about putting innocent lives in harm's way. Well, terrorists do that, and we have to defend ourselves against terrorists so they don't take innocent lives, much like they did in 9/11. So it's just very curious to me that while these two congresswomen are so defensive of a terrorist who we have taken out, they don't want any war with Iran, who's an enemy and a state sponsor of terrorism, and yet they just want to blame our president and say he has no authority when he actually does. So we're going to continue to talk in the podcast, when you listen, of how there have been several presidents who have done this before, including their favorite president, Barack Obama, who used airstrikes in 2011 multiple times. Also, the president who's used the most airstrikes within the last 5 or 6 presidents, William Jefferson Clinton, also known as Bill. So, for those of you who think that Trump doesn't have the authority, this has been done before, and guess what? It'll be done afterwards. Tlaib and Omar simply do not know what they're talking about, and they're leaving a lot of question as to why they're so defensive of this one terrorist, Soleimani, and the country of Iran. So be sure that you listen to podcast 117, Democrats Defend a Dead Terrorist, and also be sure that you subscribe at podcast.davidlmarch.com. Now, we would love for you to come to our website at davidlmarch.com, read the podcast show notes. You can find all of the clippings from the Twitter posts from these two ladies and many, many more like Nancy Pelosi. So be sure that you check us out, subscribe to the channel, and as always, stay conservative, America. God bless you.